Welcome back! I'm gonna make some tortilla chips from a recipe. And I think I can call these high protein tortilla chips. Because the tortilla that I'm using to make them has a greater protein content than is typical, and so for the same amount of calories as the store-bought stuff, I get about 5 times the protein and more chips. It's real fun. Here you go. So the first step is to take your tortillas, these here, and cut them into eighths in a stack. You have them stacked so that way you can cut them all at once. Now the recipe says that you can do this with, 6, 8 tortillas. I usually just do 2 because I'm, making an amount just for me. But if you're preparing something for more people, you can obviously do more. I'm also, trying to exert some caution. That way I don't completely slice up this paper towel and, by extension, my table underneath. And then the paper towel, I can reuse it for, something else around the kitchen. So cutting it into eighths, this will get you a nice sized, chip. I'll just, pick up a piece, for example. And so thankfully, it's pretty quick, especially if you use just the right amount of pressure. Enough to get through the tortillas without slicing too much through the paper towels. There you have it. In my toaster tray, the next step is to actually place everything in season. So now you'll separate all of the individual pieces and place them onto the tray. And try, as I did in testing, to distribute things as best as possible. Anywhere where there's overlap, there's going to be some amount of, it'll either take extra time to cook or it won't cook as fully. You should do this with a bigger tray and with baking parchment. I don't, because that would be altogether too much work. And I don't have either of those things, available to me here in my apartment. And so I just I try and spread them out, and it's okay if they're like a little over the edge of the pan. My toaster won't burn them. And it's okay if they curl a little. In fact, kind of like it for scooping. You could even probably do this in smaller dishes that have more natural curls to them. And so once they're laid out like that, the recipe recommends a spritz of oil as well as salt and pepper to taste. I will give them that. I usually go more in on the pepper than I do the salt. There are my shakers. And so I'll apply those separately because that'll require 2 hands. I lied. Getting a little on the table is fine. Good pepper shaker is hard to come by. So it comes out real quick, only needs a light touch. The recipe says to heat the oven to 350 before putting things in. So I've got it heating up. They're ready to go, salt and peppered. And it says to put them in for 6 to 10 minutes. I tried closer to 6 last time I made them, and they were crisp or getting there, but they could probably stand to do 8 or 9 in my setup. Always check your own at home. Looking in on them now, you can see that the edges are starting to get brown on some of them. This is about how we want it to be. We want things to be crisped up. And so even some of the ones that are layered beneath should hopefully have some of that crispness, even though they won't have the same color. Have a look at those. I know you may be saying to yourself, wow, some of those got a little dark, but they are not burnt. And that should taste very nice. You can see by how they stand in the bowl that they have crisped up really nicely. And so the last test is whether or not they can hold salsa. Not bad if I do say so myself.